Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is. Scoop, shakalaka, 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 shaka. Scoop, shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Not to call it our production, but I did notice that it's probably some bot gameplay in that promo, so it's pretty funny. But it's such intense music, and we have such great Rocket League that's happening in the background today as well. I mean, it's been insane to see the first series go to 5 games. One last series here we have as well with Sunbelt. But if you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm Vaudable, and who's been joining me through this week of broadcast that we're having for the Collegiate Esports Invitational presented by Geico. We got Trevor as well here in the booth, and so many great conferences and games that are happening today. I mean, that last one was a doozy.
Yeah, that was that series is hard to digest. You know, reverse sweep pulled off, went into game 5. We thought we were going to see an overtime until a save came out from the team trying to force overtime. It was a mess, but it was SFA pulling out the victory in the end. But now we've got the Sunbelt Conference. This final going on is between Karasuno versus UTA White. Now, on Karasuno, I was taking a look at the MMR of these players. They're all Grand Champ 1. They're making it easy on me. They're all Grand Champ 1 players, so they're pretty good at the game. But on UTA White, one of the players, he's sticking out to me, Adverse. He is ranking 6-mans, and it's like a pug service for the game, but at the end of the day, what it means to me is that this guy's good. Adverse, I've seen him around ranked. He's a very, very fast player. And I mean, also on UTA White is Samba. He's B+, so he's not quite at Adverse's level.
Not going to read the other thing he has in there?
Very good player. Grandmaster Eggplant, yeah, a bit of a April Fool's reference from way back in Rocket League history. But overall, just looking at the ranks of this UTA White team, they do seem like one of those teams that are a cut above the rest.
For those who are thinking, I've never heard of a school called Karasuno. It's actually the Georgia Southern University team, but they just renamed their team name to something from an anime. So, you know, just had to call them out a little bit on that one. If you aren't aware what this school is, it's Georgia Southern University. And of course, I'm in Georgia right now in Atlanta, and I'm like, of course, the one team I'm casting that's from Georgia is doing that. But, you know, we do have to talk a little bit about the rules, how we got here, what the teams are competing for, and what they're going to expect, this weekend as well. So 8 conference qualifiers have happened, best of 5 finals, which you are seeing on stream this week. $1,000 for first place, along with HyperX headsets going to the 2 teams that are competing in the finals, and a $5 Jersey Mike's gift card already gifted out to the top 4 teams for each of those conferences who made it to the semifinals there. And then after these matches are happening with the finals and the winner getting $1,000, the top 16, so the person who got $1,000 and the person who didn't get it, unfortunately, but still got the headset, all make it on to the championship bracket and have a chance to win a $5,000 grand prize that'll be happening this Sunday, the 7th of February. So a lot to compete for, a lot to participate in throughout the tournament, even if it's not on broadcast that has happened so far, and a lot for these players to just give their all out on the field to showcase their best Rocket League and take home as much as they can. I mean, we saw the last series, not as great of Rocket League as we would have hoped to have seen from some of the mistakes, but even then, it was still a competitive series, went all the way to 5 games, and a reverse sweep happened. So this one, even though it is looking more likely to be skewed in the favor of UTA White, I mean, Karasuno, you gotta guess with someone who has an anime team name that they are going to be using everything in their arsenal to try and get the victory here. They're gonna have a comeback story. They're gonna have those arcs, and you're gonna expect it to happen.
Yeah, we'll see how they can soar. But man, just looking at the roster of UTA White, I touched on it a moment ago. Adverse, Samba, and Nava. Those 3 are looking to have the edge a decent amount. I mean, Nava, who is just going purely by rank, the kind of the weaker link on the team at just a grand champ versus two supersonic legends, I assume it's still a decent edge over their opponents in Karasuno. So, I mean, if I've got to give a prediction, it's easily in the favor of UTA White. But as we saw last series, we gave the edge to UTA, I believe, or sorry, SFA. And then that went to game 5 in a reverse sweep. So anything can happen. It's
correct,
so hard
but,
to predict. Technically correct. Not quite in the manner I would have expected, though.
The best kind of correct, technically correct. Because we were right in the end with our predictions on who was going to win that one. We just didn't think it would go exactly that way. So, I mean, before we talk about these teams and exactly how good they are, we do have to talk about such a great sponsor that we have here as well, which is Geico. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle home and car insurance if you need both of those. Having a home is hard work, so get a quote at geico.com. Easy. Exclamation point Geico in the chat as well as a little tip on that as well, so that you can check it out on your own time. See the links there. But we are going to be getting into game number 1 of UTA White versus Karasuno, excuse me. I'm going to probably butcher that a few times. But it's going to be a great matchup nonetheless. Expecting to see a lot out of these two teams already off the kickoff. More high flying than we saw the last series.
Yeah, a lot more speed off the start, a lot more confidence in some of these touches. Adverse on the backboard, good defense, hitting that off to the side. No follow-up, unfortunately, so it stays in their end. Shuan bangs it up to the backboard. Godspeed trying to follow that up, and now Sage is back on defense, trying to get a read off the corner. They are beat out, so a shot could come through. Oh my goodness, I thought that was going to be saved, but got past the first defender. Luckily, second was there in net to knock that to the side. 40 seconds off the clock now. It's been a little back and forth, but mostly possession in favor of UTA White. Good pass coming through here. Bump is good in the shot. Far post. No one there to save that.
Beautiful touch there as well. I mean, the demo opening up the space. Samba just taking his time, mirroring the defender there, trying to play chicken with him. And unfortunately, he did not go for it at that moment in time. So did bite them in the butt on Karasuno, and instead UTA White gets that first goal.
Yeah, good possession on the backboard. Just being patient, finding their teammate, and realizing that, another opportunity almost arising for UTA White, but Nava getting bumped away. Mid-pass attempted, shot just wide by Shuan, and Samba taking control on the sidewall with 0 boost, flicks it over one, tries to recover with a half flip to follow up for the second, but they end up going for a corner boost steal. Adverse up in the air, placing that off the backward. Samba there to follow up. Crossbar down and out. No follow through yet. Nava's on 0 boost, waiting on the midfield pad. So any offense is slowed down by that. Godspeed trying to get it clear, but no one there to follow up. Samba meeting that in the air.
That was a great challenge as well. Got to call out Sage on that one. I mean, he was able to go up for it, land on the backboard, and then follow it forward all the way almost to the midfield line. So, I mean, if he wasn't able to do that, it seemed like UTA White would have the advantage on these challenges to just take that to a 2-goal lead from a 1-goal lead. And we see Samba just taking his time on this one. It's going to scoop itself into the net somehow, and they will gladly take that one as a great setup. Fortunately, the bump actually working out. 200 IQ play from Nava there.
Yeah, and Samba, the pass was a little too soft, so the defender would have beat them to the ball. So Samba driving towards the ball, faking a touch out, and then turning away at the last moment, giving them an empty net to shoot on. They had no chance of a direct shot, so a great fake being pulled out there by the UTA White squad, and good passing as well from Adverse to find them.
Ooh. Could have seen a solid opportunity there, but the touch was a little bit too powerful. It deflected all the way, clearing to the other end of the blue side. So weren't really able to hold on to control of the ball as long as they would like. Adverse just taking his time, taking that one away as well. The flip reset pass over to Samba. I mean, beautiful work.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Adverse taking it up to the ceiling, jumping off, getting the flip reset, and Samba so confident in their teammates' abilities to just sitting across, finding the empty net after that flip reset touch. That was a beautiful goal. I don't think Karasuno knows what just hit them.
Well, this is the time where things get serious and the black bars in anime go a bit closer into the eyes of the players here on Karasuno as they are trying to focus in and see what they could do to break out their side and get something going. Godspeed, unfortunately, does not have that kind of speed in the moment there, as he was trying to get the touch, get it with an open net opportunity almost into the back of UTA White. But so far, the 3-goal lead holding after the halfway point of this game. A demo from Samba onto Godspeed. Unfortunately for them, he respawns in the same spot he got demoed from, with these bumps and passes around, still keeping in the favor of UTA White somehow.
Yeah, a couple of awkward touches here and there, but UTA White just keeping possession through sheer speed and persistence. Samba, now on low boost, tries to get a delayed flick over the defender, but Shuan making contact and adverse. Good touch high up to their own backboard, trying to find a teammate, and the clear comes through, but it's not quite hard enough. And now this is a rough touch. Samba cheating forward a little too far, so Karasuno is able to maintain possession, but not for long. Booming cleared by adverse, and they're going to be next to follow up. Demo coming through onto adverse. Possession is maintained by UTA White. Big flick. Nava just getting contact. Oh my goodness,
what a save, but that's not enough, man. The pressure we have been seeing out of UTA White has been immaculate. I mean, every time we see one shot go away from a defender somehow getting an insane save, there was Sage. I mean, the next guy in the rotation comes in and gets the finish. I mean, this is what we were hoping to see in the last series when we saw the Lumberjacks facing off against their opponents. But this time, these teammates, they seem to have the coordination locked in. And this is exactly what we're expecting from this caliber of a roster. But oh my goodness, that almost stuck itself underneath the crossbar, but not going to be enough for that first goal for Karasuno.
Yeah, Karasuno trying to find a fast counter. Unfortunately not the case, and a backwards pinch by Samba. This is awkward. Godspeed getting bumped by his teammate, slowing that play down. Not what you want to see, but when you're down 4 goals in game 1, only 40 seconds left on the clock. Oh my goodness, almost down by 5. They might get one here. No, adverse able to catch that, pop it over the challenger. Just too easy. As he get it past a second? Can he get it past 3?
Oh my gosh,
almost beaten all of them for the 5th goal.
That was insane to see how that was going there. Unfortunately, the Orange team, they were able to get there in time to stop UTA White's advancement. I mean, there's already been 4 goals scored so far, so it doesn't matter at this point for them to put that one on through. So it does drop down. There might be a final goal, but even then, that gets denied. Not going to be able to keep it up too much longer. Still in the air a little bit, but there it goes. It hits the ground. UTA White 4-0 in game 1.
Yeah, Orange team missing their speedy orange-haired protagonist there. Unfortunately, adverse and Samba just dominated offense. Adverse looking so quick, setting up Samba. There was that one fantastic flip reset that he sent to Samba. It was a spectacle to watch when he was feeling it. And I mean, there is very little that a team of Grand Champ 1 players can do to counter the raw speed and mechanical ability of the players on UTA White.
It's been insane to see the ability, as you mentioned, of UTA White. I mean, we did see some flashes of brilliance from the Orange side, but unfortunately it was not enough for them to get that going. And they are very hungry for goals. But you know what else they are probably hungry for as well, Trevor? I mean, I got to shout it out at this point. We do have these sponsors here that we got to talk about. Jersey Mike's. I have this little box here just for that purpose. Some good old props. But I do have to talk about, you don't need a big meeting. You don't need a birthday. You don't need any excuse at all. You just need a love sub times 12. So order the Jersey Mike's catering box today. Jersey Mike's, a sub above. Be a sub above, I mean, that's what they got to be. They got to be a sub above their opponents. And hopefully, you know, if they have Jersey Mike's in their bellies, they'll be fulfilled with everything they need to power themselves up and get that win in the next game. But we'll have to see what happens there for Karasuno, as they are desperately vying for their first goal in this series as well. I mean, first game, we saw it go the way of UTA White. And if things continue this way, it might be a clean sweep as well.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a sweep. You know, in the previous series, it went to match point. We thought we were going to see a sweep, but the individual games didn't look all that one-sided. They were mistakes on both sides. hasn't quite been the case in this series. UTA White, they've been dominating on offense, and we haven't even really seen any sustained offense from Karasuno. So it's going to be hard to make this a close series when you're having trouble breaking out of your own half. So I suppose if I have any tips for Karasuno, it's, focus up on maintaining boost in your own end. Make sure that UTA White have to choose between staying on low boost and trying to keep up the offense, or forcing them to go all the way back into their own end and grab the boost and give Karasuno a chance to break out of their half.
So getting into game number 2 of this best of 5, the first one going to UTA White. Have to see if Karasuno will be one of the very exclusive Georgia teams to win after being down. So a lot of the Flex teams we've seen not in esports have been able to do that, and Adverse proving that is going to be a tall order to fulfill.
Yeah, I mean, rough touch from Godspeed and Adverse. I mean, he made it look so easy, getting so much power on that shot and placing it top shelf. No one is going to be able to save that. But he's just racing to the ball. Nobody getting there in time. And Nava up for an aerial. It's going to Shuan, and Shuan places it off the backboard. Ideally, Shuan catches the ball, makes UTA White panic for just a little bit longer instead of throwing that ball away. You want to see them maintain possession. But still, they managed to maintain some offense. However, I do expect to see UTA White breaking out pretty soon. See Adverse here taking his time, almost punished for it, as a wild Godspeed comes flying through. Unfortunately, they don't make contact with this ball. Samba making contact in the midfield. Yeah, that was dangerous. I did not expect to see an orange player flying through there.
I'm sure they had a better perspective on it than waiting for that one to come, and probably got called out by his teammates to see that he didn't really have too much boost to work with at the end there as well. So, I mean, when you are a team this mechanically skilled, I'm not even going to say gifted. I mean, it is hard work that you have to put in to get to this level of skill in this game, that you have to be confident with whatever challenge or not challenge you're going to make, is being able to wait out patiently. But unfortunately, it was almost going to bite them in the butt yet again. Somehow, Nava getting back in time to stop Disaster from striking in the back of their net.
Yeah, and you see, even after such chaotic touches on defense, Nava going up on the backboard, making sure everything's covered and trusting in his teammate to get the ball that's floating in front of the net. Good defensive rotations coming through. A midfield pass is attempted by UTA White. No contact is made, so it floats across to the other half of the field. Now Samba taking control, grabs a 50-50, and Adverse is up next, goes for a fake challenge, but Godspeed just flip-flopping in front of the ball, manages to make out with it and take control of the ball. I didn't mean it that way,
It's all good, man. I mean, it has to happen with an anime team one time, but, we do see Karasuno doing their best to push UTA White back to their own half of the field more often than we saw in the first game. So, I mean, they've been able to achieve that. We saw kind of a dare game happening there with Nava trying to see who's going to go for the ball, but instead it was dangling dangerously in front of the net. Instead, it will go to the wayside. Adverse with a good pass over to Nava. Okay.
Yeah, I think a pass was attempted there. You see Adverse taking his time, wait until he's sideways, although yeah, he jumps into the ball, doesn't flip. I feel like that couldn't have been intentional, but still none of the defense was ready, so it just floats on into the more or less empty net because nobody was here to challenge it.
I've heard in the past, it hasn't been for a while, but sometimes when doing this kind of maneuvers defensively, the car stalls out. But I don't think that has happened in a while, so maybe it was just like they forgot to go all the way around or something on the flip. But instead, another goal goes in from Nava here. 3-0, already past 3 minutes gone as well. I mean, it's been a goal a minute basically at this point. So the pressure, it's mounting. I feel like after that second goal went in, it seems like the floodgates have opened on the orange half of the field, and it's been very difficult for them to recover.
Yeah, good 50 could lead to a quick goal for Karasuno, but Samba just up so much earlier than anyone else, and trying to stop that clear has been very boost heavy, so Karasuno not able to maintain offense for very long here. Nava dropping it into the midfield, and Samba picking up the scraps on that touch, making sure Karasuno can't take possession. And still, it's just been back and forth, but UTA White, they've been looking fairly safe until that backboard touch was uncontested. Karasuno had a chance there, but no shot was made, and now quick counterattack. Is that going to be in? It is. Nava picking up a goal. Easy counter. Minute 20 on the clock. Karasuno, it's looking dire for them in this series.
Not what you want to see happening in these sort of situations. I mean, it looked like Karasuno had a great opportunity at the beginning of this game to tie things up and force things to go in their favor. Just UTA White, so patient in those moments. And then whenever they got control of the ball, they went for the transitional plays, and Karasuno were just caught off guard and caught out of position. They couldn't recover from that. So now we got to see what they could do, even with the possession of the ball. Nava, just one simple 50-50, and he takes it right away from them. Godspeed, even though he had a chance to hold on to that ball, just gave it up to the opponents. And you got to see more of the possession game in the favor of Karasuno if they want a chance to take this away from UTA White. Because, I mean, they're giving them free reign to do whatever they want with the ball.
Yeah, when your opponents are outpacing you in so many regards, it's hard to realize that you have time to slow down and take control. And that's what we're seeing now from Karasuno. When they have a chance to slow down the ball, dribble it, maintain possession, they're feeling so panicked by the pace of UTA White that they end up giving the ball away when they don't have to.
Basically playing the game of UTA White instead of their own game and setting their own pace of play. So we got to see what they can do in the next game. It's already a little bit too late in this one for them to come back, but see exactly what they need to not get clean swept. I mean, 4-0, 4-0, both games in a row, and it's just not the place you want to see things going.
Yeah, and, you know, we saw a one-sided series yesterday, and what we were talking about is how, you know, this tournament, it's not the end of the line for you. You don't get that $1,000, but you get your headsets, you already got your jersey mics, gift cards, but more importantly, you move on to that final bracket on Sunday, and you take the demos and the replays from today, you learn what you did wrong, and you apply them to your game on Sunday, because although in the span of a few days, you might not fix all your issues. You're not going to be as mechanically talented as Adverse through just a few days of playing. What you can do is be a far better team compared to other teams of your caliber. And we've seen that not every team has an Adverse on it. Not every team has a T-Corel on it. It's rare that you're going to go up against them, but there are other teams more similar to your play style and your skill level that you can beat by analyzing this game, realizing what you did wrong, and applying those fixes.
And those fixes are exactly what we want to see the Karasuno team make as well. I mean, it is good to see that they are competing at their best. And compared to some of the blowouts we have seen previously, it seems like they are giving their all and they are actually still able to meet the pace of play. It's just a little bit playing to the favor of their opponents, but they got to get in the game themselves. And you know what way could help them get in the game eventually after they get their HyperX headsets? You know, they just got to get these at some point. If you want your own as well, console or PC, casual or pro, no matter your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game, the exclusive headset provider of the Collegiate ESports Invitational. So, you know, definitely check out HyperX. They make some great headsets, and I'm sure the players, even if they aren't going to be the ones taking home the $1,000, are going to enjoy those themselves as well, because every team who made it to these finals for the conferences, each individual player on that team getting a headset as well. So, I mean, plenty to play for, plenty. They've made it to these finals themselves, and they're going to be playing on the weekend as well. So it's not over 100% yet. There still could be a reverse sweep for Karasuno, but even if they don't, they get the headsets, they get those Jersey Mike $5 gift cards that they've had in the past during the semifinals, and then they have a chance to win a $5,000 grand prize during the 16-team championship bracket this weekend. So a lot to compete for.
Yeah, and it's really all building towards that, you know, in multi-stage tournaments like this. You know, I was doing the grid previously where, you know, game one, or rather day one of the tournament, you know, if you lose, your seeding's worse, your kind of overall standing in kind of your confidence level going into the next day is a little worse. But there's things you can take away from those losses and apply them to your game and show up stronger on day two. And the same can be said for this tournament here. You know, you have a rough finals if you are Karasuno, if you are one of the teams going up against T. Corel or any of these other insane players. But you can find what is being exploited in your game, patch up those holes, and show up stronger on the day where it matters a lot more.
We don't want to see what happened there in the back end of the net happen any more times either, because it seemed like there's a weird communication error going on with the players where they were like, okay, you go for it, no, I go for it, no, you go for it, and none of them went for the ball properly. But there's a great setup, there's a great finish, and that's exactly the way to turn things around in your favor. The first goal that we've seen the series for Karasuno, they get it in game 3 and have the lead now.
Yeah, Adverse going into the corner. I think he realized ball was following him, so he quickly dived out of the way, tried to make the overall situation in that corner less crowded, less complicated, but a bad bounce off the corner for UTA White sends the ball over the goalie, leads to an empty net, and Karasuno finds an early lead. However, given the previous matches, I don't expect this lead to last for long, as UTA White is already laying on shots. Great pass coming through. Sage just getting in the way with that pre-jump. Adverse chasing down the player with the ball, grabbing a demolition. However, they're on 0 boost now. But Samba finding their teammate for a pass and taking control of it now. Double tap attempt, frees up the ball for Nava, and Nava just puts that under all the goalies. 4 minutes on the clock, it's already tied up.
I mean, there was just too much pressure for anyone on the defensive end to get that pass. And as soon as the miss happened, I feel like even the professionals, when it comes to that upper 90 corner, when they're trying to get a save from that, it is just so difficult to find the right spot to position your car so that you can cover that area. So preventing that from happening before it gets to that point off that wall is exactly what they need to do. And unfortunately, the backboard defense lacking again, and that's what UTA White are capitalizing on.
Yeah, you don't want to have your backboard empty here. Godspeed trying to get there in time, but just not quick enough. And I mean, yeah, that's one of those things where at this point in the game, you gotta have somebody on the backboard. It is way too easy for players like Nava and anything else to find the back of the net if you give them that backboard opportunity. So you want to see that gap in the defense patched up coming into Sunday. And it's not a hard fix to implement. It's just about putting in the work to recognize that the gap is there in the first place.
Good touch from Adverse, just patiently waiting for the ball to be delivered to him on a silver platter from the defense. And even the boost is very difficult for Karasuno to hold on to on their own half of the field. So Nava with a great setup, Samba with the finish. I mean, the 1-2 punch, we saw it happen for the first goal for Karasuno. Now it's kind of UTA White taking a page out of their book and showing them how it's done.
Yeah, and you see there Nava also getting a bump on the goalie. That's one thing where I talk about it a lot. It makes your game so much better. If you get a touch on the ball, you know, you throw it off the backboard as a pass, or you send it to a teammate as like a cross midfield pass. It's making efficient use of your positioning. You know, if you're Nava, you could go for the backboard pass and then immediately rotate out and try and get boost. But what he does, he goes for that backboard pass and realizes he's in a perfect position to go for a bump on the defender, does so, and it frees up an empty net for their teammate, making it an easy goal. And it's just efficient use of your positioning like that. An insane angle almost found by Samba. Half the game gone. It's 3-1. UTA White looking to take this in a sweep as another shot gets fired with so much power, and Nava just killing time, sending it to his teammate, and UTA White just had complete control. Yeah,
it's crazy too, because Karasuno, again, having to play the game of UTA White, even after getting that first goal, they kept the momentum just a little bit in time, but then as soon as we see the possession shift over, UTA White just carry it over top, make sure that they're the only ones that get to play ball and nobody else is having a fun time on the field. And all three players, even after going after this one, Samba positioning his car so that no matter who challenges this, out of all three of those players, it is going to go in.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, UTA White, they're just so confident in their ability to win challenges, to completely beat their opponents to the ball and just read any bounce so much faster. They're able to go for things that, you know, even if it's not optimal, even if it's not safe, they feel confident doing it because Karasuno haven't shown the ability to punish them for that. So they're going to keep piling on goals. They're going to keep Karasuno pinned in their own half, even when they technically are opening up counters like they did open up the counter right there, and it goes unpunished. That's what allows UTA White to do some of the most ludicrous things we've seen.
I mean, UTA White are just waiting for Karasuno to waste all their boost on offense, and as soon as they see, oh, they can't go any further, they're not going supersonic, and instead they're just waiting on their own side to see, okay, what can we do to try to take this away? UTA White just flipped the switch and they take it downfield, but now there might be a chance. Sage, oh man, that could have been the moment. Unfortunately, he didn't have the right angle he was looking for and just got too much of a soft touch on the ball. Demo, though, is going to buy some time for them to break out their own end, and we haven't seen a single demo, I think, from Karasuno onto UTA White, and maybe that's what they're missing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's another one.
Oh, yeah. Good luck demoing Adverse. He is up so much faster than everyone else. Even just his speed, the speed of his car before he even jumps, he's just constantly zooming around the field. It's so hard to catch him, and maintaining your momentum, it's such an important part of Rocket League, because really what you want to do to maintain this kickoff is madness. I was hoping to gloss over it, but
it's hard to gloss over what was happening there. I mean, UTA White were just kind of wasting time, and Karasuno, they're like, oh, what happened here?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you said it, UTA White, they're just killing time. They've got this series in the bag. It's more or less over and done with 30 seconds left. They're up 5-1. They're just hoping to kill time. I don't think we're going to see too many more goals get put on the board. See a nice pass coming through here. Adverse putting it on net, making me eat my words, but Sage comes through by RL Sage.
I mean, he's been the one that's been the best defenseman that we have seen so far on Karasuno. It's just kind of the coordination lacking a little bit from the remaining members. And for those who were just tuning in, Karasuno, that's not the actual school, that's from an anime itself, and the team is actually Georgia Southern University. But they were trying to use that anime energy to see what they could do to take down these titans of opponents, but unfortunately it seemed to be like season 1 of Attack on Titan, and they just all got destroyed.
Oh, see, my friends and I, they've just gotten into Attack on Titan, and I've been rewatching it, and I did not expect that reference to come out. That hurts a little bit.
Oh man. It's been a while since it's been out, so it's not really a spoiler. I mean,
no, not a spoiler.
If you watch the first episode, you kind of see what happens there. But we did see 3 episodes or more games happen here in the best of 5 with this series when it comes to the 2 teams, UTA White and Karasuno. But really, just Georgia Southern University is who they are hidden under their disguise, their real name or something like that, instead of their hero name. As they are, going to still come back for the championship bracket. That'll be happening on the weekend. So, and they do still get one of these lovely headsets. Well, one apiece for each player for the 3 main starting players on the roster. So, and a $5 Jersey Mike's gift card that they got as well in the semifinals. And not just the ones that we're seeing on stream, but the people who didn't make it into the top 16 still got some of those as well. So, I mean, it's great to see all the gifts and everything that these teams are competing for, but sometimes there's just a team that is just a brick wall that you cannot overcome. So, you need someone like a T. Carell or like an Adverse here to be the ones to take down that wall and just move further in. So we'll see what happens on the weekend for these other teams, but so far with the way things have been shaping up, there's going to be some good competition, and I'm sure we're going to have some great words from whoever we interview, probably Adverse or Samba on the side of UTA.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a dominant performance. I'm excited mostly to hear who they're really looking forward to playing. We saw a couple of really dominant teams yesterday. T. Carell's team was one of the strongest ones coming into this tournament, and then there's also Spuda was one of those other main players to watch out for, and he was playing against Cal Poly, which has 43. A lot of really good teams coming into this Sunday. I'm excited to see how it's just going to shake out.
I mean, we still have 3 conferences to go. That'll be happening tomorrow. And then this weekend, we're going to be seeing how these teams shape up in the top 16 to get that grand prize of $5,000. But we'll be interviewing Samba whenever he gets on the line, and it's going to be great to hear his insights onto how things have been going. I believe he is the team captain, as far as I'm aware, for this team. But we'll have to ask him what his thoughts are on that. Maybe it's someone else, and people can correct me and maybe talk a little smack about that. But, he's been doing pretty well for himself with the setups we saw in this game. getting adverse in the position he had to be in. Nava, I mean, Nava's more of a silent player typically from what we've seen in the other collegiate scenes out there, but it's been amazing to see the progress this team has made. I mean, I just saw them a couple days ago on a different stream, and they've been doing immensely improving their performances from that point. So we got Samba for the interview. He's here and he is ready to tell us his thoughts about this series. How are you doing, man, after that clean or almost clean sweep against your opponents?
Yeah, we're feeling good. Nice to come out and get the K real quick, and we're excited for Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling Vaudable what I'm kind of interested in after such a dominant victory. What are some of the teams that you kind of have your eyes set on going into the final bracket on Sunday? I mean, we saw T. Corral, Spuda, and 43 yesterday. Any other big names that you're looking forward to playing against?
That's the only ones I really noticed. I didn't actually know T. Curl's on a team until y'all said it, which is interesting.
Yeah, good luck.
and then also I just realized Spuda's on a team too. So I guess they're going to be decent. So those probably the teams you named are probably the ones we're looking out for, to be honest.
Awesome. So what were you guys' thoughts going into this series? I mean, facing off against the other competition and getting all the way to these finals themselves. Were you just saying, oh, it's just going to be another easy win? Or are you thinking that you just got to take every game and every series as it comes?
We took the first game a little bit more seriously the first couple minutes. Just we don't know what to expect. And then after we kind of realized we were 7 above them, we kind of just vibed out, talked, enjoyed ourselves. So that's about it.
Just letting the clock wind down.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, gotta take it easy and make sure that you don't get too in your heads when you're facing off against any kind of opponent. Because we did see, I think in that second game, or actually third game, we saw the first goal go in for the other side. What were you guys' thoughts after that? I mean, you took the second game pretty easy, as you were mentioning, but then the first goal goes in for the other side. You're like, oh, is this the time that they're going to actually show up and take us down a peg for one game? Or were you guys like, it's just one goal, we're just going to get more after that?
It was just, I called that off and I misread the bounce so bad. It hit the curve thing and it went right over. I was like, oh dear. Yeah. And then I was blaming Ad for that. It's his fault, not my fault. Nothing's ever my fault. We'll just blame Nava. We'll blame Nava because he's not B+ or rank. Yeah, that's his fault.
Always blame Nava.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to ask. You know, I know Adver's fantastic player, you B+ fantastic player. Nava, though, I'm not as familiar with him, but when I was watching, he looks absolutely fantastic. Mechanically, he really impressed me. So, is this kind of like a recent development from playing with you guys and everyone getting better together, or is he just kind of underrated?
He's been our sub for 6 months now, probably. We played with Genghis. He just graduated recently, this past semester. So we're getting used to Nava. Totally different players. 100% opposite spectrums. Genghis more passive. He's more the guy. He has our back. He's back there giving us the ball. Nava wants to be integrated. He's gonna mechanically play. He's got the mechanics, obviously, y'all saw. So we're trying to get used to it. It's a lot different. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but he's definitely got the potential to be better.
It's great to see the synergy you guys were having on the field. I mean, just able to go for all those high flying plays. You would just imagine that, like, maybe in the most professional games it'd be a lot more difficult to pull those off, but got to practice those while you can in these kind of tournaments. So it'll be great to see what you guys do on the weekend. Any final thoughts or shout outs you want to make to your teammates or any people out there after their win?
Honestly, shout out Genghis. He was there in the chat. We didn't know he was going to be there. He was just roasting us. Shout out Nava's Mama Lisa. She's always making us good meals before the games. Great supporter of the team. And that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, man, and make sure to get some good rest before the weekend. Enjoy these headsets as well as the money you guys won and the Jersey Mike's gift card as well. So, I mean, plenty of stuff to enjoy after the win, and we're going to be seeing you guys later on in the weekend during that top 16 bracket. But that was a great series to see. I mean, we did see some, I keep saying this for a lot of these teams, some signs of hope. So as long as they improve upon the mistakes that they were making in these series before the weekend, they're going to be pretty solid moving forward. And even if they don't manage to, make a miracle happen sometimes when it comes to practice and just being able to improve, because it takes a lot longer than just a couple of days to fix some mistakes in Rocket League. I mean, I've been in the same rank for some time, and I'm not going to say what rank that is, but I make the same mistakes all the time. So, these players, they've been playing for the same team for a while. It's great to see a sub come in and still be able to play with the main roster after a player ages out. And that's a thing that's kind of unique to collegiate compared to the actual competitive scene itself, because people age into the competitive scene instead of aging out typically.
Yeah, and I guess something that I just want to touch on, because I mean, this really is all building towards Sunday. A lot of the teams we've been seeing, even the ones kind of getting blown out, they're all the grand champ level. They have
Pretty
their
good.
fundamentals. They have a foundation
than I
to
am.
build upon. Yeah. So they can absolutely take lessons from these games and apply them to their own coming in on Sunday. So, not all hope is lost. I've been saying it over and over. I'll probably say it again tomorrow. There's lessons learned from these losses, and between all those champ to grand champ teams, it's going to be a battle. And I think whoever can maybe study up a bit more from these VODs, study a bit more from the replays that they played in, I think it'll pay dividends come Sunday.
It's going to be great to see how all these teams fare against each other, especially I'm sure the teams who did win their conference finals getting more preferable seeding against the others, but we'll be seeing some interconference fights that'll be happening during the top 16 championship bracket that you wouldn't see otherwise. And that's why this is such a great event. And if you are just tuning in, this is the Collegiate ESports Invitational presented by Geico. So, I mean, there's so much to appreciate with this tournament itself, just the matches and then the competition that we've been seeing and everything else that's been happening so far. I mean, it's hard to predict how each series is going to go. I feel like this last one and probably the TKO one were the only two where we're pretty set on how it was going to go. And they did go the way that we were thinking. But I mean, that really shows how close the rest of the competition is away from those outlier teams that you kind of see happen in tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, even the excuse me, sorry, the head-to-head between 43 and Spuda that we saw yesterday, two pretty evenly matched teams, both very high caliber, and it was hard to predict who was going to come out on top. It did end up being Spuda squad, I believe, but that could easily change come Sunday. I'm very much looking forward to both tomorrow's matches, seeing what other teams are looking fantastic, and then, I mean, it's all building towards Sunday. I'm very excited for that.
Speaking of Sunday, thank you all for watching so far. I mean, it's been an amazing time to join you all for these the fourth and fifth conferences that we've been through so far, but the two conferences that we had today during the broadcast itself, 3 more conferences, and then we are done with all the conference play that'll be happening for those finals. $3,000 more that'll be awarded, more headsets as well, more jersey mics that people are going to be enjoying with their gift cards that they have already been given, and it's just going to be a great time. So make sure to tune in on Sunday, February 7th, for our championship games. Follow the channel if you aren't already so you know when we do go live, typically around the same time each day. And here's a word from our sponsor, Geico, to send off the evening.